Did you know that when people sell and buy a house, it actually can cause a divide in the relationship? If you're not careful, the selling and purchasing of a home can actually be the beginning of a relational divide. Today, we're going to talk about how to sell your house and not get divorced. Hi, my name is Sean Slaughter, real estate agent and investor. And today, we're going to talk about real estate and relationships. Now, you may be thinking, what in the world does real estate have to do with relationships? Well, it has everything to do with relationships. When you're about to make a big decision, let's say it's move, buy a house, buy a new car, have a baby, switch jobs, these decisions can actually cause a rift, a divide, a split in your relationship if there are underlying things that have not been addressed. Today, this message is for all of my sellers who are ready to sell their house. I want to help you to sell your house and not get divorced by giving you 5 things that you should look out for before you make that decision. Let's do it. Number 1, the first thing that you want to take care of is you want to resolve unresolved issues. These are issues, emotions, and situations that are in your marriage that lack a resolution. These were things that happened in your relationship that were never really talked about, and they just kind of stopped, but there was no real ending. So there are lingering feelings, lingering emotions, lingering attitudes that when you start selling your house, those things will show themselves. What I would do is I would sit down and begin talking about the process of selling your home. As you begin to talk about that process, what's going to happen is you're going to have an argument. In the midst of that argument, you need to identify what that argument really is about, because it's not going to be about selling the house. It is going to be an underlying attitude and emotion that you're now going to try to use as a weapon to win this argument about selling a house. So you're going to have to do the big boy and big girl thing and say, hey, look, this argument that we're having, this disagreement that we're having, this may be about the house, but really I'm bringing an attitude and an emotion into this argument that really has nothing to do about the house, and we need to talk about that first. So settle those unresolved issues. Number 2, prepare to compromise. Selling your home will require you not only to negotiate and compromise with the buyer, but you're going to have to negotiate and compromise with one another. I was dealing with a couple that every time a decision had to be made, they were at odds with each other and couldn't make a decision on what to do about what the buyer was requesting or what negotiation needed to be made with the buyer. This made things extremely difficult. And at times as an agent, I felt like I was only getting one side making all the decisions because the other side pretty much just kind of threw their hands up and quit. And I knew that would be an issue if I was not able to bring both sides together, because you need both parties to sign off on the deal. You need both parties to agree. And if they can't agree, it can actually throw the deal off the tracks. The key thing in this situation is to talk with each other about what compromises and negotiations that you're willing to make, and then talk to your real estate agent about compromises and negotiations that you're willing to make or unwilling to make. And this will allow you to make a better decision when that time comes. Number 3, deal with your attachments. Now, like most Americans, when you begin cleaning out your home, you're going to have to make decisions on what goes with you, what gets donated, and what gets trashed. And this could be a huge area where arguments begin. You have some little keepsake, some little chair that was made for your daughter when she was 2 years old, and now she's 16, and that chair has memories for you. And one person feels like, yes, let's bring this chair with us, even though it's been in the garage and nobody's touched it. And the other person says, well, it's been in the garage and nobody's touched it. Let's just trash it. That can cause a huge argument and bring a lot of resentment that can actually hinder you from moving forward and selling the home. The best thing for you guys to do is sit down and talk about what are the things that we're attached to. Talk about why you're attached to them. I'm telling you, if you're having these conversations with your spouse, they can actually, number one, help you to understand one another, why they're attached to it, what they're thinking, what they're feeling. And number two, it can build a better relationship with your spouse because you may actually discover feelings and emotions and thoughts that your spouse had that you never even considered. So talk about those attachments, talk about those things you're attached to, why you're attached to them, and it will actually improve your relationship. And the reality is, Americans, we have way more stuff than we need. And you'll know this when you start cleaning your house out. You'll be like, why do I have all of this stuff? So my recommendation is things that you may have an emotional or familial attachment to, talk about them. If you want to keep them, keep them. If not, donate it. It's always best to donate than throw away. And if you can't help it, then just trash it. Number 4, decide what is going to be your next step after you sell the house. Here's some questions you want to ask yourself. Where are you going after you sell the house? Are you moving 20 miles away or 200 miles away? Does your job play a factor? How close or far away do you want to be from family? Are you upsizing? Are you downsizing? What about the kids? Are you going to move in the middle of the school year or towards the end of the school year? What school system will they be moving to? Sitting down with your spouse and not only talking about these things, but writing down these questions will help you both stay on the same page. I remember I was doing a podcast about 10 years ago, and we had an opportunity to get on a radio station in California. And so my family was very independent and really about going after the opportunity. The way that my wife grew up, she cherished family because she didn't really have much family to cherish. So the family that she did have, she cherished. And so when we began talking about, hey, I got this opportunity, I realized, unbeknownst to me, wow, I didn't know you cared about family like that. My family, at least at the time, was like, hey, opportunity is there, go get it. And so we had a conversation and it allowed us to learn something about one another that we didn't know before. So all of these things that I'm talking about, they really help you to make decisions together and discover one another so that the selling of your home does not cause divorce. And last but not least, number 5, money. Money, 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 money. Here's some questions that you want to ask one another. How much money will you net from the sale? How much will you sell the house for? Will you have enough money to take the next step? How much money do you even need for the next step? How much money will you spend on repairs? A real estate agent can really assist you with several of these money questions. Most real estate agents will put together a net sheet and they'll give you a really, really close estimate of here's what houses are selling for in your area. That's a CMA. So they'll tell you competitive market analysis. Here's what houses are selling for that are similar to your house in this area. Here's what I think we can sell the house for. And then the net sheet will say, based on that home price, here's what the net sheet says could be your possible estimated proceeds. Many times for sale by owners, and I love you for sale by owners because I love your entrepreneurship and I love that you want to take that step and do it on your own, because I'm a do it on my own type person. But you can make a mistake of overestimating just how much your house is worth, underestimating how many repairs, or overestimating how much money you need to spend for repairs. And so really talking to an agent can really help you be more accurate in your assessment so that as you move to your next step, you know just how much money I need to go where I'm going. So talking to a real estate agent can really help you because it can really give you a very, very accurate estimate on just how much money you'll need to really make that next step successfully. Look, here at the House of Motivation, my goal is not just to help people buy a house or sell a house, but I want people to be whole. That's why we call this the House of Motivation, because I want to motivate you to become your better self. A house is great, but a home is better. And homes are made by people who are striving to become their best selves. And so as you sell your home, please consider some of these things so that where you move into next is not going to be a house of imprisonment, but a home of love and comfort. Please give me a call or shoot me a text because I would love to help you sell your home or help you buy a home and walk you through these steps. My name is Sean Slaughter. This is the House of Motivation, the place where inspiration lives.